Hello, hello everyone. Welcome back to Be the Whole You. My name is Gulveg and it is once again that time where we are going to take a look at the stars above and the tarot below to get some insight on how to leverage this lunar event to serve our best and highest good. So how might we use this full moon in Leo, February 5th, 2023, to accentuate our growth, our evolution, our healing, prosperity, success, all the good things. So this full moon in Leo is such an amazing complement to the new moon that we had a couple weeks ago. I mean, the new moon, the full moon, they're always connected because they're part of the same cycle or part of the same phase. But there's some times in which the themes are so closely aligned that it's just completely uncanny. So the new moon that we had, if you haven't taken a look at that video, it probably would be worth your time to take a look at it after you watch this video and just see how the new moon planted seeds that this full moon is it's spreading fertilizer and watering those new beginnings, the fresh energy that we talked about 2 weeks ago when we were taking a look at the new moon. So now this full moon in Leo, the full moon always is at 180 degrees with the sun. So every full moon, that's the alignment that happens. And so this particular full moon, the sun is in Aquarius and is at 16 degrees in Aquarius. So we have the full moon in Leo, and the moon is about our emotions, it's about our subconscious. It's also somewhat about our passions, our desires, especially those ones that are a little bit more personal. And then we have the sun, which is about our persona. It's how we use our personality, our charisma, and our gifts as a type of self-expression. And Leo can really teach us a lot about how to honor the self and how to love the self when it's in balance. And then we have the sun in Aquarius, which is much more about the intellect. And the Aquarius is about innovation. It's also about, Leo is about the self. Aquarius is much more about the community. So it's known as being a humanitarian type of sign. It's also about new perspective. It's about revolution. Aquarius is not afraid of just clearing the deck to start anew. And so with these two things aligned, we have the moon, which is bringing up how we really feel about how we express our gifts, how we express ourselves. And this could be about our job. It can be about our relationships, our friendships, where we live. All of these things are different ways that the spirit is expressing itself, how it is playing in this physical world to experience itself. That truly is what the ancients said is the whole purpose of life, is for spirit to play. So if life has been feeling stuck, if it's been feeling really heavy, if it's been feeling just like maybe you're just looping, if maybe you have become kind of cranky, irritable, depressed, or anxious, this new moon and full moon for this month have opened a doorway for new beginnings. And the new moon was setting up the welcome mat. This full moon is now opening the door. So, my friends, walk through the door. If there's any fear, any hesitation, I'm going to get into some other things that are going to validate what I'm about to say. It is time to move forward. Holla! I know that a lot of people have been feeling a lot of heaviness in this, especially in this last year, and things are starting to move. There's more space that's being made. So, for example, we have a square. The moon is making a square at 16 degrees with Uranus and the North Node in Taurus. So Uranus is at 16 degrees in Taurus. The North Node is at 8 degrees in Taurus, which is very interesting because Uranus is the planet that is ruled by Aquarius. So Uranus and the planet Uranus and Aquarius are essentially the same energy, right? And so then you have the planet Uranus that's in Taurus, and Taurus rules physical reality. So it's about beauty, it's about comfort, but it's also about tangible physical things. So it's about home, it's about health, it's about how, it's about comfort, it's about luxury. And it's also about, Taurus is associated with the bull. So it is a bit about how do we know when we need to lean in and to assert our influence, and when is it time to just kind of back off and just kind of see what plays out. So here we have the Uranus coming in, which is the planet of change, and it's going to create change within our physical reality. So you may find an inspiration or an opportunity in the next couple weeks where a lot of tangible changes might happen. You might get an inspiration of a business that you're wanting to create, or maybe a different direction that you want to take a current business in, or perhaps you want to change jobs or get into a whole new career or go back to school, or perhaps it'll be something more like, you know what, I'm going to change up my house, I'm going to redecorate, I'm going to get a new wardrobe. Those kind of things, tangible, but more likely these changes are going to probably be a bit more, it'll seem like a small change, but it's going to have long lasting effects. And that's because we have the North Node also in Taurus at 8 degrees. And 8 is all about cycles. It's all about cycles. So we have changes that are either temporary or small, but will have a much greater impact than what we may think they will have at first. So example, you might find that you have an inspiration to change up your look. So you get some new clothes, maybe get your hair done, and that somehow shifts your energy to where then you have a whole new inspiration to maybe move somewhere else. So don't discount small changes as being insignificant at this time, because you might end up a month from now, even a year from now, looking back and be like, you know, that actually created a ripple effect that was far greater than anything that I could have imagined at the time. So don't discount the small stuff. Some of the changes that might be coming might seem uncomfortable or scary. However, we can use that Aquarius energy that the sun is in to allow us to think outside of the box. Because the reason why things are getting scary is because the ego is used to a certain way of being. Even if it was uncomfortable, even if we know it's outdated, even if we know that it's time to shift things up, the ego will typically cling on to what it knows. And this is just a natural thing that humans do. It's self-preservation. The thing that I would like to invite you to contemplate is that if it doesn't scare you, it's probably not big enough. So let's not take the fear that might come up as an indication that we're on the wrong path. If something's feeling intimidating, if something's feeling a little bit scary because of the unknown, it's probably an indication that that resistance is coming more from a place of growing pains that the ego is having to go through, and it's resisting it. So just relax through it. Relax through the any kind of uncertainty, any kind of worry that might come up. We also have a T-square with the sun and the moon, and again, Uranus and Taurus. So this whole thing with Uranus being in Taurus is playing a huge part with this lunar alignment. And so this is bringing up this question of, do I give in to external pressures of other people's opinions, of what popular notions are about what a person should do, or what's respectable, what's responsible, or do I listen to my heart? And this, the lesson of this new moon, it could be titled Follow Your Bliss. It's just follow your bliss. This is about honoring the self. We have the moon that is trine Chiron. Chiron is the wounded healer at 12 degrees in Aries. Aries teaches us how to preserve and honor the self first and foremost. It is the first sign in the zodiac, and it starts with the self. Numero uno. This is not from a place of being selfish or self-absorbed. In fact, when we honor and love the self, it frees us up to more authentically show up and love and care for others, because we're not coming from a place of deficit at that point. We're coming from a place of, I just love you just because I love you, not because I need something from you. So all love starts with loving oneself. And then with that, we have Jupiter at 6 degrees in Aries. Jupiter is like Santa Claus in astrology. It's luck, it's blessings, and it also expands anything that it touches. So this whole concept of really coming to a place where we're honoring our true heart's desire. This is a great time for doing inner child work, for really sinking into what makes your heart sing. Jupiter is going to bless all of that. So any of the fear, anything that is kind of resisting, anything that feels sticky around making whatever changes are being asked to be made, Jupiter is coming in and saying, just go through the door. Just go through the door. The door may seem like it's sticky. It may be it might give you like a little bit of pushback, and that's just the ego being like, you know what? I don't want to die and be reborn, because all changes require an egoic death. And this is saying that that whole process is very much blessed, and whatever hard things we have to do in order to make the changes that are necessary are going to be totally worth it. It's going to be totally worth it, my friends, because then we have Neptune at 23 degrees in Pisces and Venus at 12 degrees in Pisces. This is about imagining the new possibilities. It's about cultivating a new relationship with spirit. So this isn't even about it is about like strengthening the connection, but we might find that some of these changes that we're create a whole new type of relationship with spirit, with our divine highest self, with our intuition, with our imagination. It's like the new moon that we had, it breathed fresh life into our life situations. And now this full moon is like watering that so that it can grow. So let's take a look and see what the tarot has to say, and how what else do we need to know to make the most of this amazing opportunity of this full moon in Leo. Okay. All right, so right off the bat, we have two cards that came up together, and this is talking about the fear aspect. So this is talking about like, what is it that we might have to heal in order to move forward? We can take a look at the changes that we have to make, some of the tough things that we have to do in order to make changes, as almost like an offering to ourselves to pass through the gate. And that is what the Devil card reversed has to say. When the Devil, the one thing I know about the Devil card is that these two individuals on the card with the shackles are on so lightly that they could just slip them off whenever. But these folks don't know that. The Devil has them, because he's the master of illusions, has them feeling like they don't have choice in the matter. They don't have free will, that they're stuck. The stuckness that we're feeling, it's really coming from within. This is more about, the stuckness is more actually internal, and our mind is expanding that feeling of stuckness. We're creating a story that is probably coming from maladaptive coping mechanisms that isn't really helping us. When it's reversed It means it's totally time for these guys to slip the shackles off and to move on. So we're going to have some awareness because we have the Princess of Cups reversed. This card I always associate with Pisces. We have a fish that is coming right out of the cup here, and this is about expecting the unexpected. It's about imagination. And so the stuckness that we are feeling or have been feeling for a while is coming from a place of a lack of imagination. We're allowing the outside world to tell us what is realistic and what it is that we should do, what we shouldn't do. We're allowing probably external factors to play more of an influence in our life than what is healthy. Totally okay to take in other information and other people's perspectives, but at the end of the day, it's really about you. The King of Wands reversed is saying that somewhere in the shoulds, the shouldn'ts, and our own internal beliefs and perhaps even experiences that we've had from the past, our fears, and perhaps people who may not be as supportive as we would like them to be of our new ideas and aspirations. We've kind of lost ourselves with all of that. The King of Wands is very much, it has a lot of Leo energy in it. Wands are fire. The King of Wands is about self-mastery. It's about using our own charisma and our own personality for the greater good when it's right side up. It being upside down is really saying that it's time to get back to ourselves. It's time to be true to ourselves. And if our life is lacking luster, we totally have the ability to move on. Which brings me to the next card. We have the Five of Cups. The number 5 in general is about change. And in this card here, we have this individual who is so set on looking at what has been lost with the cups that are spilled that he doesn't even really recognize that right behind him are these 2 perfectly full cups that have all these blessings. I don't even know what's in the cups. Could be the elixir of life for all we know. But he's so busy looking at what has been lost that he's not taking the journey, because right behind him you see there's that bridge. That bridge goes over this hedge that the river represents between what was and the comfort of the community that lays on the other side. So perhaps part of what might be keeping us back might be attachment to certain relationships. So perhaps, for example, we know that our job isn't serving us anymore, but maybe we really like the people that we work with. And so we're really kind of grieving over the loss of these, the folks that we're not going to be working with anymore if we make this change. Or perhaps the loss will be that there's certain people that perhaps we might have to create a lot of distance with. Or perhaps we're going to have to move, and that is going to completely uproot our whole social circle. All of these things are fears and our worries, grief and sadness that will keep this individual stuck on the other side of the river. And on this side of the river, I always see in my mind just woods, wild woods. So we're being asked to go from a place of the wilderness, which is where we go to find ourselves, and we're being asked to move on. And if we do, we will find sanctuary on the other side. We are not going to be left alone, folks. So if there's any fear of not being supported if you make certain decisions, that is not the case. And that message is being repeated in the 2 next cards that came up together. When cards come together, I always look at them as being like one card. So the energies are intertwined even more than when the individual cards come up. So we have the 8 of Cups. The 8 of Cups is just reiterating what the 5 of Cups is saying. The 8 of Cups is about moving on. I always look at this as like going through there's that passage that talks about like going through the valley of death and fearing no evil. And I look at this as that kind of card, is like, we're cutting our losses and we're moving on. Take your blessings with you, and anything that has been anything that we have to let go of, that the heart might grieve, or any kind of hurts that might be back there, any kinds of feelings of betrayal, leave that behind. Heal the grief, move ahead, because if we don't move ahead, we're going to get stagnant. And this is too good of an opportunity astrologically to allow this door to shut, because this door is only going to be open for an amount of time. And even though the energy of the full moon lasts for 3 days, I always look at it as it's setting the stage for the next 2 weeks until we have the next new moon, and then the energy shifts even more. So the Eight of Cups, where's this guy going? Like, I mean, honestly, like, this is not an easy track that he has to go through. Change is usually not a comfortable experience. So, and the 8 actually, it is bringing to my mind the 8 of the North Node. And the North Node is where we're going towards. The North Node is the future. And we have the Eight of Cups here. And I think that this card is specifically talking about if we are courageous enough to lean in a little bit to the unknown and follow our heart and allow what brings us joy as being the compass of how we need to align ourselves and what we need to focus on, then again, this is what lies inside the castle on the Five of Cups. So we have the Six of Pentacles, which is about generosity, and it's about reciprocation. It's about a community where everybody just gets taken care of. It's just reciprocation. There's this easy flow. And what's really interesting is that you have this individual in the middle, right? And he is generously giving to others, but these others aren't just sitting there and just like siphoning off of this individual. Like, they also will be contributing back to the group, and everybody's going to be taken care of. But first, this individual here has to honor himself. If he goes into codependency, where he is looking for he needs other people to validate him, their opinions dictate in his decisions. If he goes into fear of being judged, if he goes into, not taking responsibility for his own actions, or needing other people to basically like to compensate for a lack of self-love, that does not set the stage for a reciprocal community. That sets the stage for a lot of like what I call not relationships but monoships, where it's just one-way giving. And maybe that's part of what we might need to be giving up, is a pattern of one-way giving. Perhaps what you've been giving in your career or in your relationships right now isn't reciprocal. Perhaps you're not receiving a fair share of the energy that you're giving out. If that's the case, then it's time to make some adjustments and move on and find yourself in a place, in a space, and with people who will support this. It's all as above, so below. The universe is setting a stage where we are empowered to make some very important decisions. Although they might seem small, they will end up being important. That could have a ramification to give us a lot more freedom, a lot more beauty, and a lot more joy. We might just have to let go of what we thought we knew, or what was comfortable at one point in time. Temporary discomfort will set the stage for long-term fulfillment. It will totally be worth it. Hashtag worth it. So follow your bliss, my friends. I know that that seems cliche, but in this particular case, that is really in a nutshell what this full moon is telling us. It's telling us that your heart in this particular case will lead the way. Don't get into analysis paralysis. If you overcomplicate things, or if you're needing to know every single detail before you jump and make the leap to make a decision, that could get in the way. Trying to simplify and to follow what it is that you are needing in order to feel fully expressed, and what it is that you need to feel heard, to feel seen, and to feel like there's reciprocation and that you're nurtured and supported. Those are the things that would be really worthwhile journaling at this time. So any kind of decisions that you're making at this time that will change, your energy, or it just feels good, or healing the inner child, or taking a look at how we might sabotage ourselves, or cutting the cords, the toxic cords of being a fear of being judged, or the fear of being misunderstood. All of those things are going to pay off in tenfold. So even the smallest effort could have big reward at this time. So good, so excited. I can't wait to hear what your experiences will be over the next couple weeks. And if you're needing any kind of additional clarity, feel free to drop me a line, or check out the website at www.BeTheWholeYou with just the letter u.com, and book a session. We can take a look at the tarot, maybe some runes, and take a look and see what it is that you specifically might need to do in order to align yourself best during this next couple weeks to get the most benefit, and or also take a look and see if there's some healing that needs to be done that will allow you to make these shifts and changes a little bit more graceful, maybe even a little bit easier, maybe. Yeah. All right, folks, have a wonderful rest of a couple weeks, and I look forward to seeing you back here when we will take a look and see what the next new moon has to say.